A very good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Outpatient Network. Last man standing here with Ultimate Pool. Steve Jameson, Simon Webb with you for a day full of fun. Saturday was so much entertainment in this sort of one-of-a-kind tournament. We've never really done anything like this before. I think it's safe to say after day one, we will be doing this again at some point.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what a day we had yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. Players loved it. We loved it. Hopefully everyone watching at home loved it. Absolutely fantastic. More of the same today, please.
Yes, absolutely. Plenty of highlights from yesterday. Yeah. Before we talk about that, though, those of you watching for the first time, we get yesterday. It might have been a busy day. There was lots of things on the Saturday FA Cup final, all that sort of thing. If you're watching for the first time today, and those of us on YouTube and Facebook as well, catching the hour preview, here's everything you need to know about this unique event, the Outpatient Network Last Man Standing. Ultimate Pool Last Man Standing is a new event which combines great players with a game show-like format that should be great to watch and fantastic fun to play. Here's how it works. The players. 26 players will begin the tournament, the top 16 ranked players, 8 qualifiers and 2 wildcards. The tournament begins with 2 players being randomly drawn to face each other. They face each other in a 30-minute match, with the loser exiting the competition. The winner stays on. Their next move is to call out their opponent, or have them randomly selected for them, and so it continues, until we have our last man standing, who collects the grand prize. 3 in a row. If a player wins 3 matches in a row, they've earned the right to exit the gauntlet, and they'll be placed back in the mix following the next match. The Hitmen. To add a little bit of extra spice to this competition, we have the addition of 4 hitmen. These players will have a cash bounty on each of their heads, which can be won with an instant win should they be beaten, but a word of warning, you don't get to choose. If you beat a hitman, you could win the cash, or you could have the bounty placed upon you. Or the hitman stays alive in the competition via an extra life, and you stay on the table. The extra life is only in play once in the tournament. Oh, and they're the highest 4 ranked players in the competition. Call them out at your own risk. If 2 hitmen play each other, the winner has a choice. They can either double up their own bounty or pick a player to have a bounty placed upon them. Should a hitman win the tournament, they'll pocket the prize money and steal any bounty on their head too. To win this tournament, you'll need great play, clever strategy, and a fair helping of luck too. Who will be the last man standing? Yeah, so a really, really fun event, and so many different things could happen. You watch that video, you think, oh, what could happen here? So many different stipulations and thought processes going into this event. We thought it would be a little bit ridiculous and car crash at times, but some real highlight moments from yesterday.
There was. I think I'm going to credit somebody that probably you wouldn't expect, but I'm going to credit a lot to Neil Raybone here. First match, he wins it, and we're thinking, what are the players going to do? Are they going to pick? Are they not going to pick? And he's just gone straight for it. He's called out Tom Cousins, caused a stir, and I think that sort of set the tone for the day, really. We saw, great decisions made after that, some eye-catching decisions, but yeah, Neil sort of got it rolling. Tom then wins 3 matches, keeps himself in it, which was very, very impressive to see. And then, of course, Craig Waddingham and Mick Hilbin pulled out, and then Craig calls out Gaz, and that was the big shock of the day. Very, very impressive to see him do it, and I love that, and obviously he backed it up by beating him as well.
He did, and credit as well to Scott Pope, who won 3 matches as well yesterday. 3 players running 3 in a row was very, very impressive to see. 13 players still left in the draw, and of course late last night we see Phil Harrison versus Ronan McCarthy via a 6 red shootout from the random draw in the match that no one wanted to be a part of, but Phil's here this morning. I have a choice to make in a moment as well. Important to mention that there is a little bit of a curveball this morning. Our friends at Omnia Therapy have provided a bounty boost for one of our Ultimate Pool hitmen. There's 4 currently in the competition. We asked yourselves on Facebook this morning as part of the Ultimate Pool Fans Forum who you would like that extra 500 quid to go on the head of. And our results are indeed in with the overwhelming majority. Tom Cousins gets 62% of the vote, and you've now got a grand on your head, TC. All the best.
It's an interesting one, though.
It is.
Because obviously, it means players can win more money by beating him, but of course, do they want to call him out? Because obviously, he's playing so well at the moment.
And of course, if TC gets all the way to the end, he nicks the bounty and the prize money too. And don't forget, those bounty stipulations, the extra life, the target acquired, they are all still in play. All right, time to get the action underway, and to do that we need to bring the man into the arena who is still the winner stays on from last night via 6 red shootout. Please welcome in Phil Harrison. He's had all night to think about what he is going to do, and I am very interested to see what Phil's choice is going to be, because we spoke to you last night, Phil, and you really weren't sure. I think you were quite glad to have the night to sleep on it and think about it. We're going to bring you the list of players up. This is what you've potentially got to work with. First question though, Phil, is are you going to be going to the draw, or are you going to be choosing one of our players still in?
I'm going to pick it.
You're going to be picking. Okay. Phil, the floor is yours. Look at those players. Look them in the eye. Who are you calling out?
I'm going to try Steve Martin.
Steve Martin, in you come, sir. Our Outpatient Network sponsors Wildcards. Lovely to have Steve in the mix. We'll grab a word with him in a minute. Flew a little bit under the radar as well. Should be a cracker. Former Welsh team captain, not played too much on the Ultimate Pool circuit. His first taste of Ultimate Pool action. You get yourself comfy, Phil. Steve, lovely to finally have you with us. Grab that microphone, have a very quick chat. We were speaking at length yesterday in the players area, and you were sort of very keen to get going, but obviously that's not what you want to do in this event necessarily. Finally getting a crack. You knew this moment was come. Looking forward to it?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, it's the best time to do it, isn't it? I wanted to sit down and my legs were hurting, but I have to do a bit of walking now and see what I can do with Phil. So yeah, looking forward to it.
You were one of our players this morning when I came into the club, and there was 3 or 4 players in here nice and early, getting the practice in, trying to, I think, make a bit of an impression to show that you were sharp, but you must be feeling confident coming into this.
Yeah, I am. Nothing to lose, so just go and enjoy it and see what happens. See what it brings.
All the best, mate. All right, Steve Martin versus Phil Harrison is next on the Last Man Standing.
Well, welcome into the studio, joined by Sean Story this morning. First of all, very good morning, Sean. We didn't get to see a huge amount of you yesterday, or anything of you really, because you were kept nice and quiet, not involved. And I guess you're relieved so far, so good. You're not involved again first match.
Well, I'm a stat man, and yesterday 16 players played, 3 survived, 10 didn't play. So I'm happy to be in that camp.
Yeah, that's well, you're absolutely right, because obviously the 3 to survive, you have to win 3 matches to stay on. But we're getting ever closer to the prize money, ever closer to winning the tournament, and we're going to get. Well, we're starting the day with 13. We're going to get ourselves down to 1. The longer you can not play, the better.
Yeah, in theory, someone could not play until the final, so that's very unlikely. But there's definitely going to be 7 people in the prize money that haven't played as a minimum. There could be 8 or 9, depending on who plays the next 2 matches. So. It is interesting, and especially with Tom getting the extra bounty, someone might...
Is it you more tempted to pick him out now because he's got that extra bounty on his head?
Well, we practice together, so probably not. Just as in just for the, I wouldn't. He'd be the last person to call out. Not necessarily because I don't fancy beating him, because obviously I've beaten him a lot. But
Yeah.
he beats me when I beat him, of course. But
he does that with a lot at the moment.
Yeah.
He's absolutely flying it. Today's going to. I don't know how today's going to play out. I actually think the dynamics are going to change today. I thought yesterday we were a little bit not sure what was going to happen. Neil's obviously set the tone by picking out Tom, and then Craig picking out Gareth. And amazing to see Scott Pope do what he did at the end of the day, winning those 3 matches. But today I think we could be in for I think it could get more tactical. I think we're getting ever closer to the prize money, ever closer to almost the tournament probably coming in feels almost not unwinnable, but it's unlikely because of could have to win a lot of matches. Whereas now we're getting close. It's starting to feel like the tactics might come into play more.
Yeah, the decisions have to be a bit clearer now because it's not that kind of far away. Tomorrow's a long way away. But I mean, yesterday, a maximum of only between 1 and 4 people could have survived yesterday as a maximum. So if you were one of the 16 to play, you weren't in a great spot, really.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Well, one of the players that did survive is Phil Harrison. He had to come through that 6-red shootout late last night against the current world champion Ronan McCarthy. Brilliant end to the day that was. Very dramatic final match. He survived, and he's decided to call out Steve Martin, who is our Omniotherapy wild card. Sorry, excuse me, Outpatient Network wild card.
Phil hit a good break here, did he? It just sort of. No, he looked like he played really well against Ronan. I think we got noticed that was the last game, so a few of us that were staying all day seemed to maybe leave the arena. I'm not sure it was a great time to be doing that, but anyway. So I didn't see all of the game, but we were there for the 6-red shootout, which was Ronan actually did quite a good time, but they both hit a perfect break.
Yeah, they did. It was an amazing match actually. Phil missed a ball to go 4-0 up, and it sort of swung the match completely, and did well to sort of hold himself together in that 6-red shootout. Are you surprised with his choice of going for Steve? Would you thought? I had a feeling he was going to go for the draw. I thought he might be the first player to go to the random draw. I don't know why.
That random draw shouldn't even be in there.
Yeah.
Make people choose. I don't like it.
The strange thing is, I think the random draw was added into the event to give you guys, the players, a bit of an out. But none of you guys want it.
Weakness.
Yeah.
No one would do that. The thing is, everyone looks at a draw. Say it's a normal tournament. They look at a draw and think, "Oh yeah, that's a nice draw," or not too happy with that. So why wouldn't you want to pick? But no one's got the balls when they've got the choice to go. Come on, that's a nice draw for me. Let's have a go.
I think, to be fair, Craig Waddingham has. He's gone. I think the nice draw for me is Gareth Potts, and he
well, that was just what did Ronan call that? He called it just stupidity,
Daft,
didn't he? I'm not allowed to say that.
No,
I'm sure that was his words. Not
I'm the other way. I think it was absolute genius. I really, I don't think I think Craig Waddingham's in the final. That's how genius I think it is.
Fair enough. We'll see.
We'll see how it plays out. Of course, the random draw. If Phil wins the next 2 matches, we're going to a random draw, so anything can happen there. But if it goes down playing out, you've got to be a brave man to call out Craig. Is my thinking. Oh, Phil.
Oh. He was doing his traditional head shake because he wasn't on the right angle. I thought he'd recover that situation, but just slid more than he is used to, I guess. Didn't quite get the left-hand side grip he was hoping for.
Well, we do talk about that that shot with the check side doesn't take, but Phil knows that as well as anybody.
He didn't have loads of choice. He could have maybe squeezed around the back of everything. Oh no, you have to see the shot again. That red was really, really in the way of all of his options, really.
So calls for the extension, but he's in a world of trouble all of a sudden.
I think he can go up and down, and he's got enough ego. He's looking at it there. He can just about hit enough of the 8 ball to pot it. Very, very, very small target to aim at, but if you miss it, you might hit it off the bottom cushion anyway if you hit it hard enough. There you go. Is it going to reach?
Is it going to reach? Oh, he had it.
Tell you what, he just did a bit harder.
Yeah, that would have been a way to start the day. Well, that's exactly what Steve Martin wanted to see, though. I mean, in some ways, that's better than having your first chance and taking it. You're seeing your opponent, who's a legend of the game, coming to the table.
This is the wrong ball. The ball is on the left cushion first, in my opinion. These aren't easy anyway, but you take your hard ball first. That one on the left and the right are slightly tricky. But
a lot of people at home might be new to seeing Steve Martin. First event with Ultimate Pool that we've got to see him out here, and very well respected player though amongst the players. Former Welsh captain. I think there's a reason why he was largely kind of ignored. If is probably the right way of putting it, because people didn't want to play him yesterday. He had better options for them.
I think psychologically, the way the list has been done with kind of, I think it's done in ranking order or whatever, isn't it? And the qualifiers at the bottom. I think it should have just been spread around randomly, maybe. The draw the players pick from is what I'm talking about.
But are you going into? I mean, let me put it this way: are you going into your match? You probably wouldn't have wanted to land flat on the cushion.
Didn't think he was going to land flat there. I thought he hit that well. But this is where you'd put it for ball in hand, just off the cushion. But he's like a turn of a cue ball away from being perfect.
Well, he is in good shape to win this first frame. But before we, I'm going to throw it down to Stephen James. Actually, he's down with a player.
Yeah, thank you, Simon. Out here in the players' arena at the moment, it's a different mood to yesterday, where it was all very chipper and chirpy. We ended the day with some beers on the table, but Aaron Davis is locked and loaded, ready for day 2. Aaron, I wanted to talk to you first this morning because we've got Steve at the table here, who we've not seen with Ultimate Pool, but I know he's a player that you know really well. Top player. Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. I've not really seen him for a few years, but back in the day, he used to play for Wales, and he's highly rated with all the pros here. You know, everybody knows him, to be honest, and that's probably why he's been picked out so late.
Yeah, it wasn't like a case of, oh well, he's like gone under the radar because no one knew he was, and a bit of it. It's because there's a lot of respect there, especially amongst, say, you lads from the northwest.
Yeah, he's very highly rated. He used to live in Manchester with me and lives in Cardiff at the moment. And yeah, he's a very good attacking player, and when he gets going, he's very dangerous. The only thing he's probably lacking is the experience and the TV table. That's it.
But he seems like the sort of character who's ready to absolutely relish it, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a brilliant character. You know, he gets on with all the players, and he talks to anybody.
It should be a really interesting one. I wanted to ask yourself about your role today. How long do you reckon you could fly under that radar?
It's not going to be much longer, I don't think. I'm expecting to play in probably the next 3 or 4 matches, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. I mean, anything could happen, really. You know, some weird picks yesterday, so you never know, do you?
You never know, and that's why I love this event and why all the players are sat here absolutely sweating. Back to you, Si.
Yeah, great to get Aaron's thoughts. And yeah, to be honest, he said next 3 or 4 matches. You can almost take that, because this is, well, we've got 13 players left, top 10 get paid, so we're getting closer and closer to that bubble match, and you get picked out in 4 matches' time, you're already in the cash.
Like I say, 7 people minimum will be in that position, in the cash, having not hit a ball. Someone's right, even 3rd or 4th place may not have hit a ball.
Honestly, it would not shock me. I don't think, it's not likely, don't get me wrong, but it would not shock me if somebody makes the final without hitting a
Yeah, in fact, it's guaranteed. 4th place, I think, is guaranteed to not have hit a ball. Somebody. I think if you've got 7 left when there's 10, minimum.
Yeah.
It's got to be. 4th place minimum that someone would have not hit a ball.
Well, Steve did make that counter clearance, possibly not the way he drew it up. Good nudge at the end. That would have been one that just would have irritated Phil, because he knows it wasn't the best shot that Steve ever played. But the only thing that's important is that he made the clearance, and here he is, frame 2 with another opportunity.
That's why I was saying about that being the ball he should have taken first. That did end up being the ball that haunted him, but he got lucky, to be fair. He didn't play it in the top right corner when he was... But fair play to him, because it would be easy to... He didn't drop his head with any of it. He just gone with it. So it was very easy to kind of miss because you've made a mistake, if you know what I mean. The miss comes after the kind of positional error. But
yeah.
He did land very nicely on it to the top right corner, in all fairness, almost dead straight with the 8 ball waiting over the right middle.
You can forgive him for being, not being as precise with the cue ball as he would like, simply because we talk about it a lot through the first 3 years with Ultimate Pool. There's a lot of players that experience this taste of the arena and the cloth and everything else for the first time, and it does feel different out there, and it is going to be one that he's going to have to adjust to. You can practice all you like on the practice tables, it just won't feel the same.
Yeah, that's why I just didn't understand his first shot necessarily. I know you don't get much time out there, but the one on the left rail was his problem ball. The 2 at the top connected really nicely anyway that he took first, so it's just interesting thinking. But even here he's kind of leaving his problem ball alone, which is the one on the top left of the table. The other problem ball is next to the 8 ball. Those 2 don't really connect, and he's leaving them as his last 2 balls, so he's going to do well to get out from here. Not saying he won't, but it's going to be a very good finish from here. This is not the order you'd ideally like to take the balls in, but sometimes it just goes like that.
not the best angle on this yellow either.
No, and if you hit this hard with topspin, the white goes very close to the bottom right corner. It kind of throws wide, so he needs to inject some pace, and you can see the cue ball squirt. You see the top bite.
Rakes aside as
That's
well.
a really good shot. If this goes to the bottom left corner, that is a really good shot. He's done well to get that to grip like that. Cued that nicely.
That's actually an incredible shot to try and get there from where he was
On this table
to
in
get that,
particular,
yeah, because he didn't overhit it. Like you say, the harder he throws that, the harder he hits that, the wider it throws. He doesn't overhit it.
It's perfect.
That was a brilliant shot.
These the table has tightened up a bit. Back in the early days of Greencloth, this would be very comfortable, but if you don't hit this really well, it is going to wobble away. So not much margin for error here. Cue ball's fairly natural, just bottom left-hand side. Probably going to aim to be below that red that his head is blocking right now. Yeah, there you go. Perfect again. Perfect. That's a really nice finish in the end.
Yeah, 2-0 in front. Steve Martin over Phil Harrison, and Phil's going to have to do it the hard way if he wants to continue his journey. Yesterday he did it from in front. Today he's going to have to do it from behind. Still a long way to go though. Race to 6 here. We've still got 20 minutes left on this match clock. A lot can happen yet. But you have to say, you know, a very smooth start for Steve Martin in his first frame in the competition. First frame on an Ultimate Pool Arena table as well. The names in white here are the players we have left in the competition. You see Tom Cousins, Craig Waddingham, Jack Whelan and Shane Thompson have those asterisks next to their names. That's because they are the hitmen. They have the Omnia Therapy bounty on their heads. And
Tom
because
needs
of
a double star.
Yeah, and he does, yeah. Because of the vote this morning, Tom's bounty has doubled. Will that change people's ideas? Do they take him on ahead of a Waddingham, Whelan or Thompson because of the potential to earn twice as much money?
What you're really saying
tell.
is anybody else as crazy as Neil Raybone?
Yeah. Well, that's what I said this morning out in the arena. I think a lot of credit to Neil. He set we didn't know what was going to happen. He set the tone. Very first pick of the day, Tom Cousins. Let's get it on.
If you were guaranteed it, I understand it, but you know the extra life's still there. The bounty on your head's still there, although that did happen to Craig, so maybe that's unlikely to come out again. But if it is a so-called random draw, I don't know if I trust you guys with the random draw, but you know.
I can tell you the computer makes it completely random.
I'd like to see it pulled out of a hat, personally. I don't like these computers, but don't like computer poker, and I don't like computer draws, but hey-ho, what can we do?
No, it is completely random, and it's still the same chance of the bounty if it was to move. And what we're talking about, if you beat a player, let's just fill in the blanks for you there. If you beat a player that has the Omniotherapy bounty on their head, you have a draw. You can either win the cash, which is 500, or 1,000 if you have Tom, or the bounty will change onto your head. You will become the hitman, and the hitman you've just beaten goes home, or an extra life happens, and the person that you've just beaten will walk out the arena and just go and sit down in a player's room and wait for their next match, and you've got to go again. The extra life can only happen once, though.
So obviously yesterday only one bounty was beaten, and it was Mick Hill with Craig Waddingham out of the random draw, and Craig picked and ended up with a bounty on his head, which wasn't ideal, I'm sure, for him. But
I actually think the worst of the three options.
Yes.
In a strange way.
It is, yeah. Yeah.
Now Steve's in with another good chance here. He's just pausing for thought. Not where he wanted to land, so just a bit of a reroute going on.
Yeah, that red, believe it or not, that red on the left-hand side is the most annoying ball here. Because that's you kind of want to play two cushions to the left-hand side, but you're coming close to that red. So you might just have to go straight up and down here. Or potentially just play left middle first, but I'm talking about the ball coming off the right middle here. So the natural line here would be to screw top cushion, left-hand side cushion. See, this is now, he's just going to try and land straight to the right centre for the 8-ball in the top left. It's just one of those where you've got to, on a table you don't know very well, this is a shot that could go almost anywhere. You're kind of aiming to be where that red is at the bottom of the table in your mind, but you could end up decelerating and hitting the red on the left, or overhitting it and hitting the red on the right kind of area. So it's one of those that can make you look silly, this shot, and he's underhit it slightly. You can imagine they actually wanted another foot of pace, but it's very hard to judge that shot, especially on a table you don't know. So he's going to have a trickier 8-ball than he would have liked, but
Done the right thing though, giving himself the guaranteed shot of the 8-ball rather than trying to get great on it.
It's a bit annoying that red is slightly hampering his bridging. It is quite far away from the cue ball. That's where you'd ideally like to put your hand right now. So it's just going to mean a slightly longer bridge. I imagine he'll put his hand behind that red. And any kind of deviation from straight cueing and you'll miss, but that's perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Steve Martin looking like a seasoned pro out there. 3 chances, 3 clearances, 3 frames, halfway to the 6 he requires. And he has the next break. All looking good right now for Steve.
3 chances, 3 finishes. Very impressive. First time out there. Haven't heard any beeps.
No, absolutely. We're obviously at 30 seconds a shot at the moment, but we will be going into 15 seconds a shot, which is where all players will struggle a little bit more than the 30, but I think Phil's struggled to adapt to it more than the majority, and doing that from behind is going to be tough for him. So this is looking like a tall order already. It could get worse yet as well.
Where do you see the break? There's not been much cut breaking, has there?
There's been very few.
Because the cloth is older. It's tough to get this cloth at the moment, and there's a definite divot in the top spot, so the referees are struggling a little bit to rack the balls, but they do seem to be splitting final day. I mean, there's not been any slug racks I've seen.
No, I think the players that have played are sort of talking about well, certainly the ones I've spoken to, that it's been a tough table to break on, but actually, when you look at the body of the breaks we've seen, the body of work, it's been pretty good. I think you look at Gareth's, who went for extreme power. That didn't really work out well for him at all. It hit them really well as well. But you look at someone like Mix or Wads, they were just catching that ball really, really, really solid, that front ball, and not going overly powerful with it. And that seemed to work the best. But you're one that analyses it more than most. Have you made your mind up which way you're going on this? Because you've obviously got a
I think
variety
because they're
of
racked
breaks.
high, because obviously there is that top spot which is a bit higher than where you'd normally put it, but they have to sit the front ball in that top spot. I'm thinking cut break, but either one of my breaks is working well at the minute, so we'll see. But I think I'll be starting with the cut break, just with the golden break, and also less chance of potting the cue ball.
Yet to see a golden break this weekend.
Well, again, testament to most people head ball breaking. I think there's been a couple of close ones, but nothing. This is again last balls, tricky balls till last. It's kind of a theme with Steve. It's obviously he doesn't mind tricky balls. Doesn't seem to be too fussed about getting them out of the way early if it doesn't arise. So this is very tricky now. Going from the bottom cushion to the right hand side cushion, it's guarded by reds. I'm not sure the 8 ball really only goes in the left centre as well.
I kind of think he needed to play that one down the right hand side there. I know it was a tough shot, but it was a natural to come across the table.
And you've got a bit of equity if you miss it. I agree. I mean, what he's done, it's a bit unfortunate, but I mean, this is the first time it's caught him out yet, because he's done this every frame pretty much, left his challenging work till the end. I think it does go, if you get straight flush on the cushion off that red in the top right corner and into the right corner, if you know what I mean. He's got enough of it. That's what I'd be playing, I think, here. Just top it through to the cushion. I don't know if he's seen the shot. This is also a good option. It's not a bad option at all. It's hard to hide everything here for Phil.
It's very rare in international 8-ball rules that covering a pocket gives you any sort of advantage. You certainly put Phil in front here, but Phil's got to play a couple of good shots to get himself in front, if you like.
If he plays that ball up that he's looking at there and just leaves the cue ball slightly to the right of it, he covers both yellows. So that'll be his plan, just almost rolling up to this basically, but just slightly to the right. Yeah. If he's got an edge, he can skim off that yellow and pop the one over the pocket with the cue ball, but I'm not sure if he has an edge or not. I think Phil wanted that a little bit further to the right, that cue ball, but I think it's okay. He has got an edge. This is okay. This is a very... if he's... Phil would have been in quite a bit of trouble if he... Well, to be fair, I think he is in quite a bit of trouble, yeah.
He's going to have to come up with something here.
Oh, he is in trouble. Long plant. To the top left.
Safety options are super limited here.
I don't think there really is one. Not a guaranteed one. He can play 2 cushions and kind of land just to the sort of the right-hand third of that top cushion. There's two reds that are acting as blockers there. That's what he's played. Is he going to leave a gap? No, he's perfect. That's a brilliant shot.
No panic from Phil. That really was well worked out and very well executed. Huge moment in this first match of the day with 11:15 left on the clock. If Steve was to win this frame, you could not see a way back for Phil.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be on, is it? Oh, my goodness
What
me.
an effort that was. He's going to have to do it all again.
What a shot. We can see why he was wild carded in. He's bringing plenty of entertainment already. I'd like to see that. This is going to be tough. I can't see anything obvious. I think this is just a hit and hope for me. I don't see any way of skillfully trying to guide the yellow towards the pocket. If it goes straight in the right centre, then I'd maybe be erring on the side of that. If the red and the 8 ball together aren't in the way of that. He's looking at it now.
I do think it goes in there, but it's hard to actually get to that.
It's one
that
cushion
area.
with left-hand side. Yeah, he's sort of... And maybe looking off the red, actually. I'm not sure it goes direct. He's trying to hit it full off the red first. Oh, he's very close there. Very unlucky. And the yellow's gone in the worst place. That was a great effort.
It was, and nearly. I thought the cue ball was going to stay on the table and actually leave a really horrible position for Phil. The red going in means nothing. It's the cue ball that creates the foul.
So, well, he has pushed one of Phil's reds to... I don't know if it was there before, but that red on the right-hand side, knuckle, he's just going to have to develop that. That's about as awkward a spot as a ball can be on the table if it doesn't double. You kind of have to develop it. He's playing the red off the red, is he? Is that on?
It looks quite high for this shot.
Yeah. He knows all the tricks. That's fine. It's not ideal, but don't do too much here. Just kind of take your medicine, drop it in, play the red long or in the middle next. Or the one along the top cushion, whatever. Whatever. That's the right way to play that shot. Very nice finish. Made these look... And like I say, that red did look quite high as well, so... Had to inject some extra pace, which is why he just kind of lost control of the shot slightly, but he always accepted that. Hence why there was no head shake that time. He was relying on a little bit of luck.
And frame on the board for Phil Harrison. And you may have noticed, obviously, Steve was very close to time fouling. That's partly because we went into the 15 seconds a shot during the end of that frame.
Sneaky, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, it snuck in. And Phil's going to have to do all his work at 15 seconds a shot here. He's 3-1 behind still. Steve Martin is going to tell himself he's still in a very good position. If he'd won that frame, he would be in a very dominant position, but he's still where you'd want to be with 8 minutes left on the clock. Phil knows he's got plenty more work to do.
What are your thoughts on the event so far, Simon?
Oh, I've absolutely loved it. I really have, and I've loved it for a variety of reasons. But one thing I didn't know was how you guys were going to take it. I think a lot of you guys were very confused. You didn't know what it was going to be at all. But every single player I've spoken to has absolutely enjoyed the weekend. Really loved it. Really embraced what it is. And for that reason, it's been absolutely brilliant.
Oh, this is cruel.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's very cruel. Very, very cruel for him. Wry smile. He knows how much this will
broke that
hurt.
really well. Well, it was tracking a little bit, but I mean, that red did not like that cue ball much. Get off the table. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, absolutely fine. No, it's been great to see the players just really embrace it. And we get to see more of the personalities come out. You know, for seeing what you guys select, but also getting to see the interaction during frames and when you guys are watching frames and stuff as well. It's been absolutely fascinating to see.
I don't know if you were out there when Neil Ravone won the first match of the day, and there's 24 of us sat there, obviously, and all we can hear is, "Neil, you played great there. Neil, have you been working out?" Oh, I was in fits. It was funny. Everyone's just complimenting him. Don't pick me, Neil.
Yeah. Yeah, the games within the games. Yeah, all of a sudden you're getting ultra friendly with people out there. You don't want to pick me. We're good mates.
Never seen so many Oli Bale fans as the match last
Yeah.
night either, the second from last match. The whole crowd of people there were wanting Oli to win because, of course, that would have avoided the random pick where Phil and Ronan were picked out. That was a big sweat for everybody.
Yeah, no random pick on jeopardy here, although that flick is going to really hurt Steve Martin. And
It's another theme, isn't it? There's a ball on the cushion as Steve's last ball.
And it's not even one that you can really just die in. I mean, you can die in and then have a very, very, very
Well, it's a
awkward
very
8-ball.
in off 8-ball either way.
Yeah,
Isn't it,
so
if you do that.
Yeah, this is just not nice and multiple
Wow,
reasons.
What a queuing shot that is. That's why he
Brilliant.
doesn't mind leaving them till
Yeah,
last.
why
They're not tricky balls for him.
Position's overrated.
What he's looking at me going, what tricky ball? I'm trying to plumb this in.
Cued that one in like a dream, and it's another clearance off the break for Steve Martin. He's 3 in front once again. This
That was a
time
reverse.
it was a reverse, yeah.
He did
6
say-
minutes 53 left on the clock, and he has the break.
Phil is in trouble here, and he's not really done anything wrong. So that is Paul for you.
First frame.
First frame,
just
yeah,
the tone
sets the
gets
tone.
set.
It
First frame,
does.
he has the first opportunity, doesn't make the most of it. Steve gets to mop up a counter clearance wide open, and okay, it needed a nudge at the end there, but that sort of relaxes you into the game, and he's played some great stuff after that. Really, when he's needed a big shot, he's come up with it.
Yeah, and Phil will be annoyed because that first chance was good. He just overhit one shot, then he snooked himself on the 8-ball, and that they are the fine margins.
There's
in
also
this
the
game.
dynamic that Phil's called for this match. That's the other
Well,
thing.
you
that
have
went-
to call for a match. I
You
don't
do,
think-
but you know, is that in your mind? Did I call?
Oh, hello, golden duck.
Not quite, but ball in
Oh,
hand
he's been
anywhere
lucky.
here for Phil.
There's work to do. Plenty of work to do here. It's not a freebie, which it should be for that really. There's no should be in Paul though.
Just going to try and open it
see,
all up
the
on
eight-
one
the
shot.
8-ball is then the tricky ball. Even if you get this, I suppose you just got to go this way, haven't you? There's no safety options now.
8-ball's tricky, but it does have a pocket. Everything now does have a pocket.
It's true.
This is where you've got to show your class as a champion. Phil's won so many titles in his career. He's got 6 minutes left here. This isn't about clearing up here. He needs to clear up here and then break clear. And next time Steve touches the table, it needs to be within 1.
This needs to be quick, and we know Phil can go quick. He's got plenty of history of buzzer beaters, so he's just, for me, he's taking too long. It's fine if he gets the next 3 chances, but if Steve gets visits to the table, that clock is going to disappear very quickly. So I think you need to, at the point of almost risking the missing the finish, you need to, he could have taken these out by now. To be honest, the 5 minutes left, I suppose, is okay. To need to win a minimum of 2 frames.
Oh, Phil.
Don't
That's
see
as
Phil
poor-
do that often.
No, it's as poor a shot as you'll ever see him play.
It was off angle, and I don't think the bottom yellow went. I think he's played for that yellow in the top left there, but he was trying
Trying to get
come
the other
above
side of
bed.
the 8-ball, yeah.
Nope. Yes. Oh, that's not going to do him a lot of favours.
Well, both, because he's made the pot and he's nowhere. Yeah.
Oh, where does this go? Can he back double it? Off the cushion first? I think. You need a miracle. Probably right middle though, if it's going to go any on. He's going for right corner. Good effort. Played that.
And now Steve has got all the time in the world, can do what he likes here.
I think the red was in the way for Phil's shot there. But I see Steve going. He seems very aggressive. Play the long plant. I don't know. Safety is the shot, really. I think
Yeah,
he's just
no
played
thoughts of the
safe.
plant at all there.
Yeah, just get that clock going. Could have used his extension there as well. Just a bit of experience. Because if Phil does fluke this, then...
Oh, wow. So close.
That's the danger. At least you'd have had 30 seconds off the clock if you use your extension there.
Use it now. But of course, that's another aspect for Steve. He's not going to be too used to playing with extensions, and it's probably not in his mind.
Oh, didn't want that in. The 8-ball is very guarded, so even if Phil does make this, which he should, it's probably a 1 cushion escape. Does he need any side on it? No.
Oh, that's cruel as well. It has not been the farmer's morning. That is for sure.
Yeah. No, another interesting thing from yesterday is nobody lost on their 3rd match. Everyone who won 2 matches won the
Dom
3rd.
did.
Did he?
Dom, yeah, he lost the 3rd match to Scott Pope.
Oh,
Yeah,
my stats are
beat
wrong.
he beat David McNamara. Then called out. Who did he play? He called out Brian Halcrow. Beat Brian.
Yeah.
And you could tell that the closer he was getting to sort of, he played okay in the first match. Then he was nervy against Brian, and then when he killed out Scott Pope, he just sort of almost fell off a cliff, and he gave Scott a couple, and and Scott then played really, really well.
Yeah, Scott. I was really impressed with Scott actually. He kind of did the same as what you were saying about Dom, though. He kind of wobbled in that last game.
He did wobble in the last game as well, yeah.
But I can imagine it's really difficult once you've won 2 and you kind of think this. It becomes like a final, a mini final, doesn't it? So
and maybe not quite in the same way, but you had Craig Waddingham beats Mick Hill in the first match, which was a drawn match. Then he calls out Gareth and beats him, which was just an amazing spectacle. Then he's sort of changed tack a little bit and gone Freddie Barker, who's much lower down the rankings, and played his worst match of the 3.
Right,
it wasn't though he played terrible, he still played a level and he still came through fairly comfortably, but he was pushed by Eddie. It was only 1 frame in it at the end.
Yeah, I mean Eddie was 4-3 up, wasn't he? And he broke dry, I think. If Eddie, it was only a couple of minutes. I didn't see the whole match on that one, so I thought I'd better get some table time in. But
yeah, that's why
I was watching it on the screen.
It wasn't as though Craig played badly in any way. It's just that was the toughest match of the 3, the one to get you back to safety. And Phil's decided enough is enough. So he is conceded. He is saying, Steve, well done. You are through. A brilliant performance from Steve, you have to say. Phil didn't do a huge amount wrong. We know that, but
just a couple of mistakes.
But all credit to Steve, though. He, we were critical of some of the patterns and stuff, leaving himself tough balls, but he kept making them.
Yeah, well, as I say, he often left very tricky balls to the last 2, but I don't think he sees them as tricky. That's my evaluation.
Exactly. If you fancy curing him in down the cushions like he was, then why not? Interesting now, though, because we've obviously, a lot of the players we've seen out there making these decisions, we've kind of got 3 years of history to kind of see, get a feel for what way they're going to go. Steve, obviously very new to Ultimate Pool.
Well, I'm sure he's watched it.
I'm sure
he knows most of the players anyway.
But my point being, we've got no idea what he's going to do. Have you got any idea what he might be doing here? Who's he going to call out?
I had no idea what was happening yesterday, to be honest, with 2 people calling out. Nothing's gone by the book, has it? So, no, I mean, nobody knows what people think. Neil Rayburn just said he thought Tom was the best player in the world at the moment. He wanted to play him.
Well, does Steve go down that road? Does he go down the road that he's a wild card into the event thanks to our title sponsor? And does he go? Do you know what? Come on then, Tom. Let's do it. Let's get it on.
If he beats Tom and then Tom gets extra life, I am going home. I think I'll just concede because that'll be Tom all over.
But I mean, he could do that. He could be looking at calling out one of the hitmen. His options are quite limited because the field's getting smaller. I think we've got 1 more qualifier or 2 qualifiers left in the event because Scott Pope won his 3 yesterday. Greg Patton, who was one of the pros, he came through qualifying. Other than that, it's top 16 seeds or hitmen. So he's trying to work out which way he's going to go here. Or he could go to that random draw, which we've obviously discussed and you don't particularly like, but he has that option.
Yeah. Well, another just soft point on Scott Pope. He got through by because Chris Melling's not here, didn't he? Chris Melling went for another event.
Yeah.
Scott Pope finished 3rd in his qualifying group and only got through the back door.
A really interesting point. Yeah, we didn't pick up on that yesterday. Of course, absolutely amazing.
He was actually 3rd. There was groups of 4 for the qualifying. He finished 3rd in his group and as a lucky loser because somebody couldn't make it.
That's
the 3rd place players made the new group.
Maybe he's the one. We'll find out. He could, of course, be drawn out in the very next match. It's time for us to find out. Let's throw it down to Stephen.
Yeah, thank you very much, Si and Sean. Well, Steve, first of all, welcome to life at Ultimate Pool, mate. That was as impressive a debut as I think I can remember. Really impressive performance. You look so comfortable out there, but that's not easy to do, even for players who played out there an awful lot. Yet you look really at home. How did you feel about it?
Decent. I ain't gonna lie. I was shaking really bad at the start. I mean, when I lagged, I was like, and then nerve settled, got the first frame on the board, and like you said, he's a bogey player of mine, so...
Yeah, he was. I was chatting to Aaron whilst the match was on, and he obviously knows you quite well. And he was saying, he was telling me in the car on the way up, I have a feeling I'm going to be picked, and he's got a sort of run over me. So that must feel a little bit nice to get that one back.
Definitely, 1,000,000%.
Now I want to ask you first. Obviously, our players are waiting away in the area there, eagerly awaiting your decision. But you have, of course, got the draw. Should you wish to go to it, I want to ask first before you pick any player. Are you choosing a player, or are you going to go to the draw?
Choose a player.
You're going to call someone out. All right, we'll bring up the list. Of course, Phil Harrison no longer a part of it, but all the players in white other than Phil are available to pick. Have you got a name for us, Steve?
Scott Pope.
Scott Pope, in you come, son.
Come on then.
3 matches with the win yesterday and called out early on the next morning. Well, coming in, Scott, we'll get you in here, mate. Little mic swap and we'll have a little chat for you, Scott. Obviously, you played so well yesterday, brilliant performance, but I get the sense that you were probably expecting to play relatively early today, even though you got the 3 wins yesterday.
Yeah, no, I actually expected to be called out against Phil, but I'm happy to just dodge a bullet. To be honest, I'm actually quite happy not to actually play Phil. I feel there's less pressure now, so there's just as much pressure on Steve than there is me. So.
And I know from being around the arena in that last match, you were out on the practice table. I got the sense you were sort of expecting this whatever happened.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I want to give it my best shot, regardless of not thinking I'm going to win it, but I'm just going to, give myself the best chance.
Well, hey, I think with this event, mate, it is the biggest. If you're in it, you can still win it that we've ever had with Ultimate Pool. Wish you the very best of luck. Scott Pope versus Steve Martin is next.
We're ready for match number 2 this morning. Steve Martin has called out Scott Pope and managed to drag in one of our top players, one of our hitmen, Shane Thompson. We've not seen you on the table this weekend, and you're in day 2 of the competition. How much have you enjoyed it so far, and how relieved you've not had to play so far?
Yeah, no, it's been great. Obviously, I thought I was going to be picked out a few times yesterday, and yeah, buzzing to be in the second day, to be fair.
The sort of change, we were just talking about it as you're coming into the studio here, the change to sort of change the jeopardy when players pick you, that they're not guaranteed the money, they have to go to a draw and you've got potential extra life. It sort of changed the dynamics of players are kind of stayed away from the hitman in general, but at some point today that has to change.
Yeah, I think we're at a stage now where obviously we're getting close to the top 10. I think some players won't want to risk the bounty.
Yeah.
I think the bounties will get picked out around 8th, 7th place maybe. I think they'll just pick through the unseeded players sort of thing.
And of course, now that Tom's had the extra 500 thrown on his head as well, he's got double your bounty. Do you think that's going to change the dynamic as well? Do you think are people going to look at that differently now, or do you think it's still, because obviously if it's Tom's flying at the moment, and you and him have both got the same, but now he's got twice. Does that change how people think about what they're going to do?
I think no matter what bounty you pick, you're in for a tough game. So I think maybe the extra 500 quid will be on the players' minds, but we'll see.
Well, let's have a look at the match we've got coming up now. Scott Pope, a player you know very well, and you practice with him, I believe, as well. So
yeah, a little bit. We have a game every now
yeah,
and
and obviously phenomenal. I thought obviously a lot of talk about Craig Waddingham yesterday with what he did, a lot of talk about Tom Cousins, what he did. But for me, the player of the day yesterday was Scott Pope, because of going in there as a qualifier and doing what he did to survive and get himself through to day 2. I thought was absolutely fantastic. But because he's still the challenger in the field with all the top 16 seed players in and the hitmen, I just came here this morning thinking, for all the hard work he did yesterday, he's in for a tough day today, because he felt like he was going to be one of the early call-outs.
Yeah, he said to me last night that obviously it's all good being in the second day, but I think he knew that today was going to be tough for him. I think he knew he was going to be called out early.
Yeah, and call out early he has. For him now to get into the prize money, he's now going to have to do it off his own back, because he's going to have to win this match. He's going to have to win a couple more as well. So we are edging closer and closer to that top 10. We've got 12 players left in the event, getting closer to it, but Scott's got plenty of hard work if he wants to get through. Quick word on Steve Martin, taking on Phil Harris this morning, called out. I thought that was a very impressive performance. He obviously, a couple of times he left himself awkward balls at the end, but he came up with the goods nearly every time. I think only one got away from him. He took it to Phil and played really well. Yeah,
I think Steve's gone a bit under the radar this weekend because a lot of people wouldn't remember him from, 7-8 years ago. He was a very good player. He was not dominating the tour, but he was winning and flying, getting big results. So it's not a surprise to see him playing well.
No, it's not, but he's going to have to back it up now. And the dynamics of this match for Steve completely changed, because he goes into, the match against Phil, and a lot of people will be just looking at Phil there. He, arguably goes into that one as the underdog, whereas this time he's called out a challenger, and he's the one that's called this out, which just changes the mentality and changes the night dynamics of the match. But it's going to be Scott Pope that gets us underway, and he broke really well yesterday, and he breaks really well here again, but it's dry. He hit them well.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game for both of them, I think. Because obviously, like you said, Scott played really well yesterday, and Steve's obviously started off like a train. So, yeah, so it's a difficult one. Be interesting to see who gets called out next, though. Obviously, Scott's caused a bit of controversy last night. I'm not going to go into it, but he's not afraid to not sneak someone out, but you know what I mean. He's not afraid to pick someone who would be classed as a friend.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's talk about that's fascinating. You were just telling me that obviously Scott and Oli, good friends, and they know each other and travel together to events, and they're kind of almost saying, well, we probably won't pick each other out, whatever. And then he's gone and called him out and sent Oli home.
Yeah, it was. I was surprised, but I wasn't at the same time, because I think when you're at an event, you can't put friendships into first place. You have to pick your opponents properly, and well, I think it was a good. Well, it's obviously a good choice. Obviously, he won the game, but
yeah. And Oli looked shaken by it as well. Oli didn't play particularly well in that match, and partly because he's having to go out there against a guy that's playing well, and he's a little bit cold. But Scott made his only real mistakes in his 3 matches were against Oli, and Oli wasn't able to take advantage of them. So first chance for Steve Martin, and it's a chance that disappears on him. Wasn't missing those in the previous match. So a brilliant day yesterday for Scott Pope. Can he back it up today? He's going to have to win at least 2 matches to get into the prize money. And I say at least because we still have this extra life looming, which could just change things a little bit. The next match essentially is the bubble match, but if it's against a hitman and the hitman gets the extra life, then we'll do it all again.
Yeah, hopefully that is me.
Does it feel, just talking about the extra life, do you feel like there's any sort of safety net for you? Because obviously you've essentially got a 33% chance of losing and staying in the competition right now as a hitman.
Yeah, I don't know, to be fair. Obviously it's a random pick on I'm guessing just a generator, isn't it? So
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be surprised if anyone gets the extra life, to be fair. Probably not even in there.
Just teasing you all. Yeah, why not? That'd be fun. But yeah, no, it is in there. I've seen it in the rehearsals.
It's not in the real one.
No, not in the real one, though. No. Change it over.
It's not on that, is he?
I think you're talking about the sort of extra life that will change I think that will change the mindset of the picks for the next 2-3 matches right now, with it being so close to the prize money.
Yeah, I think if you're a logical type of person, then I think you'll stay away from the bounties until you get to the top 10.
That was a nice shot from Scott. He's going to need a couple more. Just have to hit this one really nicely, and you can land very good on the last ball. The angle's good. It's just don't overdo it.
No, Scott was telling me yesterday when Craig called Gaz out, Scott was a bit upset because Scott wanted to pick Gaz out.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if he goes for Tom with the 1,000 on him.
Yeah, I mean it depends as well where you are in your trying to win 3 matches to get through as well, and where you are with everything else on prize money and where it is in the tournament. Oh, he just showed too much of the jaw, too much respect to it.
It's a big miss, that.
It's almost like it's nearly a big pocket, but it's not. You either play it off the red or you don't. There's just that gap in between, and he unfortunately for him, hit it right in that gap. If he misses by a fraction more, he makes it.
Steve would have played the double there to a shot to nothing.
Hasn't moved it far enough.
I think the shot 2 shots ago was to play the double and then leave the white bottom rail. That's not a bad shot. He's got to come thin off it though, he might be able to get a snooker back. He's left it.
Yeah, left it on. He was trying to be conscious because if he overhits that and half kills his yellow, it's almost a free shot you're giving Steve, but he's given him a fairly comfortable shot in the end.
Yeah, Steve ain't going to miss many balls in open play, that's for sure. Like I said, a lot of people would chuck him under the radar a little bit, but he's very good.
Well, he certainly went under the radar yesterday. Nobody called him out. Managed to steer clear of day 1, but he's been in the thick of it on day 2 so far. This is his second match, already beating Phil Harrison. He'd need to win this one and one more to get himself back into the safety net of the players' area. I feel like that when you get called out, trying to sort of put yourself in the mind of the players, it feels like the first match, it just feels like it's a long way to get back, and then you can only focus on what's in front of you, so you just play your first match. All of a sudden, the second match, it changes because you can almost start to see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, and then obviously the pressure ramps up on the third match.
Yeah, I think, like I said, we're at a stage now where we're only one off. Is it one off from the top 10?
Well, there's
12 left at the moment.
There's 12 left at the moment, so the next match essentially is the bubble match, as long as the extra life doesn't come into play.
I think what you just said there about the long road back, I think you're basically winning one match to get into the money, ain't you? So I think it'd probably be a bit of a different mindset, but yeah, it will be a long road back.
Cue ball was close, stays on the table for him, but everything's gone to the left-hand side. Tricky.
Obviously, we all knew coming into this event it was a bit of a lottery, really, innit? So you never know when you're going to get picked out or the random draw.
It is a bit of a lottery, but it's a kind of, there's a nice big bonus at the end of the weekend if you're the one. I mean, one of the 26 of you is going to walk away with the title and the first prize.
Well, obviously, if we're a bounty as well, I think we collect the bounty as well, don't we?
You collect the bounty on your head, and of course, if you were to beat other bounties along the way, you take theirs as well. So you could, in theory, you could beat the other 3, take their money, and win yours and theirs and the top prize. A nice weekend's work.
Yeah.
Back like 2021 for you.
Yeah.
You keep turning up, winning all the money and the trophies.
I mean, that could be why I haven't been picked. This is my table.
Yeah, it's your table.
He's pretty fortunate to be on that ball there.
He's not on anything now. This one's got away from him. It was always congested. It just never felt like a comfortable finish that he was taking on there. How'd you like this, Shane? Little 3-ball plant pass through. It looks even tight.
I think it's the only shot he's got. But
oh, what a shot.
Oh, my word.
That is absolutely brilliant. There was barely room for the plant, let alone finding it.
That's ridiculous.
This is incredible.
That looks so tight from there. I
yeah,
don't think it went.
Doesn't look on. And just come out perfectly for him. Brilliant vision, great execution. Oh, and then he underhits this one.
No, I think that's all right. I think you can play it off 2 rails. Play it in the middle and come off 2 rails.
He's so far short that you're saying he's actually still got a shot.
Yeah. Not off the knuckle, that's not a shot.
Is the red just sticking out just enough that it's in his mind that he could flick the red here?
Possibly, yeah. I thought he was a bit straighter than that. I think he's fine.
Yeah, found your line.
Well, he knocked a ball down the row in that first match, which was a lot harder than this.
Yeah, because he was off the cushion as well. Yeah. Oh, cued it in. Beautiful. Did not expect this from where he was 3 or 4 shots ago. 8 balls to complete. A fabulous finish. In it goes. Take a bow, Steve Martin. That was absolutely incredible. That 3-ball plant. I mean, I guess he's thinking he's in a position where he doesn't really have many options, but this is very creative and absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, Scott's probably thinking he's going to get to the table there. So that's a double whammy, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, the Outpatient Network wildcard is showing why he was wildcarded in.
Oh yeah, he was a sponsor wildcard, wasn't he? Yeah.
Sponsors wildcard, yeah. Yeah, fabulous from him. I say it's completely different dynamic, this match, to the previous one where he was called out by Phil Harrison, and almost it can be a little bit freer with that in a way. You know, he's the one that's arguably the underdog, but here he is. He's called out our qualifier Scott Pope, and he's having to do the business. So far, so good for him.
Frame 3. Scott Pope to break. Trailing 2 frames to 0.
Oh, and the cue ball straight in.
He's hit them good
Great
as well.
power, but no control.
Good hand from Pope. Time running.
He's connected them so well as well. Straight in. I'm guessing the 8-ball does go into the middle. I think it looks tight, but
He had a quick look to see if he could put himself on this red with his cue ball in hand. It has to be behind the break line we have there, but didn't need to do it because he had that one. This one connects to the left centre and work his way down the table. Compared to the previous finish which he got, this one much more comfortable level.
yeah, you would like to have been off the rail there, but you should still be fine. It's all about the 8-ball here. If it doesn't go, then obviously he's got to move it. But I think, yeah, looking there, it looks like it goes in the middle.
I feel like he's still got just half a positional shot to play, just simply because he's going to have to leave the one on the bottom cushion for the 8-ball position.
Yeah, you need a nice angle on that. You just run it through off the rail and back up. That's perfect. Got a feel for Scott here though. Obviously all the hard work yesterday, and it looks like, I mean, there's still a lot of time left, but the way Steve's playing, it's hard to see a road back.
Nicely done there, just put the trace on just to get nice on this 8-ball. Fires it home, 3-0 in front as we approach the halfway point in this match. By the time we break off the next frame, we'll be very close to that 15-minute mark. So Scott Pope has plenty of work left to do. Took down 3 Ultimate Pool pros yesterday. First match today up against Steve Martin, the wild card. His first taste of Ultimate Pool action out there in the arena, and he's the one that's taken it to Scott. Sponsors wild card into the event, Outpatient Network. Twice a junior world champion. Being the Welsh team captain as well.
Thank you. Frame 4. Steve
Did your
Martin, break.
international careers overlap in terms of the top stage?
I think we played 1 year and then he stopped because obviously I know obviously family, kids, and that sort of stuff. I think he just stopped playing. But I've recently, the last year or so, I've seen I don't know if he's put a table at his house or his dad's house, but he has been practicing a bit. So he's obviously looking to make some sort of comeback, or I don't know. But it'd be good to see him back because he is obviously a good player. And he's a nice lad to be around on the tour as well. Like obviously the old UK tour, he was always life and soul of the party sort of thing.
Scott's going to try and make it happen. While we're talking about the national stuff, and not far away from this year's World Championships out in Morocco, you're all ready and team looking good, shaping up well for another tilt at the title.
Team's always looking good, mate, to be fair. I can't remember a year that we've ever gone there thinking we're in trouble, but yeah, no, it'd be good to retain. Obviously, we got a good record. I've still not lost the World Championship when I'm in the team yet, so hopefully it stays that way.
Love that flex. Never been in a non-winning team for the Worlds. That's pretty cool. And of course, the tilt at the individual world title yourself as well.
Yeah, going to give it a go. Obviously, it's tough when you're like, people think being a seed is a good thing, but sometimes it's not because the people that you're playing against have already played a few matches. So you just got to make sure you've had a good knock and get used to the conditions. Obviously, it's going to be really hot over there as well. So
yeah,
obviously we haven't got to wear waistcoats now, which is ideal.
Yeah, I love that change. I really do.
It needed it, mate, to be fair, because even in Ireland it wasn't hot, but it does get hot. I mean, especially when you're under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, and also, it's just the way the world has gone now. It's the spectacle of it. Obviously, I love tradition as well. I'm not against the tradition, but I do like that change. I think it's better for the players and the viewers, or the large majority. Yeah, of course, if you are looking forward to World Championships, you can watch it here on Ultimate Pool TV. We'll be out there, travelling out to Agadir in 3 or 4 weeks' time. Event gets underway 2nd of July.
Yeah, I think we fly out on the 1st. Get there at 8 o'clock at night, I think. 8, 9 o'clock.
Going out a few days early just to acclimatise, get a couple of days of sun before the event starts.
Yeah. I might have to pre-tan before I go there because my legs are lily white.
Yeah, Agadir, that's the place to be. Early July. Of course, you can watch it all. Steve Martin is doing a good job of punishing that error from Scott. It was a tough plant into the middle from Scott, but you felt like he was just chasing it a little bit, which you have to do when you're behind sometimes. But he might get another chance here. This could be a turning point, and just like that, Scott stands up to have a look. He's very invested in where Steve Martin is finished.
Yeah, there's not a lot of time left. He's got to win 4 frames, or I'm not actually sure who would be a favourite in a 6 red, to be fair, because none of them have done one before. And I was saying that to Scott last night when Oli had that chance in the last frame just to run the clock out.
I can't believe he didn't.
He would have been a big favourite in that 6 red because Scott's never done one, and obviously we all know Oli.
He's a very quick player, and
he's quick. That's what he's built his reputation on.
He has the ability to go ultra quick, I think, at a 6 red, and yeah, I was massively surprised. It was, it really was a very surprising choice of shot.
That's actually a really good shot from Steve there. If he's played it. Put another red safe. Obviously Scott can play a double and get them both out, but
he's got enough time on the clock here to waste a visit. He could play a safe if he wants to, but doesn't look like he wants to.
I'm not sure he has got time, to be fair.
Still 11 minutes.
Yeah,
but he's only got to win 3 to get to that 6 red, though.
Yeah.
Where you can make a clearance in, a minute and a half, 2 minutes, just in normal 15-second play. So 11 minutes is fine. And now he's sort of gifted 4-0 away by taking the double on. He could have played that slowly, just bumped it into the middle of the table and left the full ball snooker. Get cue ball in hand if you get it really good, and then you're playing the one down the cushion and you're guaranteed to win the frame.
Yeah.
If he makes the double, we're talking about, a good decision. He's rushed through it, but, percentage play maybe the other way round, and certainly cost him this frame. 4-0, and Steve Martin is in the comfort zone right now as we get to that 15 seconds a shot part of the match. With 30 seconds away, by the time we break off, it will be at 15 seconds a shot. always very easy to say in hindsight, but I'm surprised at that choice.
Yeah. He doesn't look happy, does he?
No. I think it did feel from turning up this morning, like you say, because for me he was the player of the day yesterday. Obviously, don't get me wrong, I thought what Craig and Tom did was exceptional, but you almost expect it from those two guys, especially the way Craig's flying, and Tom's been incredible for 7-8 months now. But for Scott to come in as a qualifier and do what he did yesterday, I thought he was the player of the day. But he knew himself he was possibly in for a tough day today, because with all the great players left in the event, there was a chance he was going to get called out fairly early.
Yeah, I mean, Scott can be very dangerous on his day, especially with a table like this where it's open, and I mean, balls can be potted relatively easier. Yeah, he is very dangerous, and he showed that yesterday.
Of course, he's not out of it. It's just a long way back. He's going to have to win 4 frames in the next 9 minutes 44, and he's going to have to do it from his chair, because Steve Martin gets the first chance here in frame 5.
Yeah, these yellows are quite nice as well, if you can drop onto the bottom rail. Do some exhibition stuff now.
He's obviously decided that getting flat on the bottom rail, he wouldn't be able to pot that yellow. It looks like there's enough room.
He's actually landed perfect there.
Yeah.
Because he can top this through and land bottom rail, and then he's out.
Yeah, he was trying to move the red there, but it doesn't look like he needed to. And this time he plays on it, which kind of
too hard.
Makes it a little bit surprising, but he has gone too far. Or has he? It's just a little bend.
No, he's kind of like jabbed at that, hasn't he?
It didn't allow any turn.
I might stay in here after the match. You don't see my face. Might work.
I love that. This is the sort of mark, isn't it? We got what 7-8 minutes to 8 minutes to go. It's starting turning his attention. It could be you. You could be out there in 12 minutes' time playing your next match.
But the way he's playing, it wouldn't surprise me if he goes for the big bounty.
But it would be the one to, you know, if Steve.
I think if you're going to go for a bounty, I think you take the big one.
But for Steve, if he wins the next match, then he gets a match off. So the next match essentially becomes the bubble match. You know, extra life. You know.
So I suppose he'd be up to ninth place if he wins his next match, wouldn't he?
Well, he'd be in the top 10 as long as there's no extra life.
Yeah.
So the next match is essentially the bubble match if you take the extra life out of play, and we'd get him because of course it'd be guaranteed ninth. So you know, I don't know. Depends how he feels really. Depends what sort of history he's got against the players left in the competition. Scott's showing some fight here. He's going to hang in there. He's still in it, just under 7.
I mean, there is the golden break in play,
and there is the golden break in play, so you just never know for Scott. Former Baptope amateur champion, 2022. Been to the semi-finals on the Challengers. He showed some good form.
It's not on there, but he actually just won the Fibertech 10K challenge up in Blackpool.
Good event
he
up
won
there,
that, so yeah, obviously he's forgot to put that on there. I'm guessing it's an old profile from before.
Speak to the graphics guys.
He would have definitely put that on there if it was a recent one.
Well, he's showing some fight. He still believes he can do it, but you feel there is enough time to make the finishes to get to 4 at least. But the golden break would really help him. Steve deep in thought. Maybe he's thinking about who he's going to call out. Maybe he's thinking maybe it's time for a quick match against Shane Thompson. Maybe he thinks, let's get that bounty. Really, I find it so fascinating what the players will do. I really do. course, he can't think like that right now because he's still got a match to win and you can't take it lightly. We have seen big turnarounds and late turnarounds in the past. Even though he's 4-1 with 6 minutes 47, he's no guarantee here. Especially if Scott can take this finish out because he has then the next break. He could all of a sudden make